What line from Toy Story inspired this next episode of Broke to Awoke? Well, you have to tune in and find out. Coolest news ever. Just yesterday, you and I were hanging out. We were riding back up to this megalithic castle that exists on this island. And you mentioned a cool term. You talked about layering impact, AKA, in Britney terminology, triple prizes.
Triple prizes.
This was in relation to what I feel like is one of the best examples of abundance. I know we talked about this a little bit in season 3, but Redemption Ranch, specifically Indy's Redemption Ranch. When you come up with a why that'll make you cry, something so powerful, so important to not only legacy, but to family and to growth and to this calling that you need income and growth and wealth for this type of impact. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Mm-hmm. Well, triple prizes is a playoff of double prizes, which is a playoff of Toy Story. Obviously, when Sid is pulling out the aliens and he's got the claw. Yeah. The claw goes down and Woody is hanging onto one of the aliens' feet and he pulls it out and he goes, double prizes. But what do we mean by triple prizes? we mean that there's winning on all fronts. So Indy's Redemption Ranch is a kept promise. So my niece and nephew were born at 24 weeks. And obviously that was not planned and very hard. When she came out, she was given a 20% chance to live. And her brother, her twin brother, was given a 50% chance to live. On day 5, the little boy died in my sister's arms. His name was Parks. And that about wrecked the whole family. That was just so heartbreaking. And, you know, she was given such a lower chance and had severe brain bleeding and all this stuff. So I sneak into a little incubator in the NICU and I start negotiating with this child. I said, Indy, I don't care what they've said about you. You've always been a fighter and I need you to live. If you don't live, I don't know what's going to happen to your parents. Like it's just very hard.
Absolutely.
And so if you live, I promise I'll get you all the ponies you could ever dream of and they'll be all yours. And for her almost 13th birthday, I was able to present Indy with her own ranch here on Buck Island in the BVI. It's called Indy's Redemption Ranch. And so, you know, she isn't all the way normal, what you'd classify a normal kid, but she is incredible. She is literally my inspiration. I'm dedicating my book to her. She is the strongest woman I know and an ultimate overcomer. And that being said, she'll probably never have like a regular job and a regular life. And that's because she's extraordinary. But what she does have is this huge bragging right over her sister and everybody else that she has her own ranch. And so I call her up for all important decisions and I get to give her the feedback on how did the horses behave around the heroes and did we have some school children over from BVI to come play with them this afternoon? She is the boss of that ranch. And so she comes and gets to do her riding lessons every day. And it's really just been a beautiful kept promise for her. On top of, you know, that being its own little beautiful story. And one of the reasons I believe people should have abundance, which is the ability to keep promises, the ability to do special things for special people in your family and people you care about. All the horses are rescues. And so when it came time to be able to start filling up the ranch when the island had space for, you know, putting animals down there, I was just looking on these different websites for rescues and I found out about this thing called kill pens. And there's sadly like thousands and thousands of horses that get auctioned off and then sent to slaughter either in Mexico or Canada every single year. And then people eat horse meat. And what I find is that they go to these places called kill pens, and sometimes those kill pens will put them up on Facebook and say, if anybody wants to bid for more than the price per pound of meat, this horse is yours. And it's so heartbreaking. Oh my gosh, there's so many on there and they're all starved out or it's this beautiful horse and they just somebody didn't love them anymore. And so All of our horses and ponies came from there, other than the thoroughbreds. The thoroughbreds were left to die on racetracks throughout the Caribbean and were brought here for healing and restoration. What's interesting is a lot of those animals were abused, and if they're willing to undergo their healing journey, then they are used to heal others. So we have them enter an equine therapy program that it's really interesting. And I wish I could talk about this all day, but horses are known as the bridge between people to get people back to people. And so, for example, if somebody deals with anger, horses mirror your energy. And so there's no hiding it. And so you can't force somebody to talk to you. You can't force this. Like the horse will just react. And so it takes you learning how to calm yourself down, how to be mindful, how to stay centered enough to even have that horse be able to work with you. And so for people who don't understand how to tap into their feelings, for example, sometimes veterans who have been trained to block them out, these horses get to be their bridge back to learning human connection. And so it's that triple prizes. So it's a kept promise to my niece. It's rescuing these animals that are, again, if they choose to engage in their healing, used to heal and save the lives of people. And it's just this beautiful story of redemption, which I love so much. And so on top of that, they're not just used for our veterans, they're used to teach local kids how precious life is and how important animals are. And our big phrase for down there is a Les Brown quote, and it's one of my favorites in the world. It's one person's opinion of you does not have to become your future. And we talk about how one person can look at you and say, you're not pretty enough. You're literally better off as meat because you can't be a show horse. Or you're not strong enough anymore because you were a draft horse and you pulled your whole life and now you're not strong enough to pull anymore. We're going to throw you away for meat. Or, a teenager loved you and went to college and doesn't care about you anymore. Somebody loved you and left you. And it's been fascinating through each one of their stories and why somebody didn't love them anymore, how people can see themselves in those stories. And they're a constant reminder to me that God can change your whole life in a day.
Sure.
Change your whole life in a day. You can literally be on the back of a truck headed to slaughter in a trailer because everybody said you're worthless. And then you end up here in the most beautiful paradise ever, watching the sunrise every morning and getting cherished and brushed every single day of your life because you were just so adored.
And it can happen in a split decision. And what's better, it's a beautiful representation of these horses and these animals. They didn't have to do anything special, and that gift just becomes bestowed upon them, randomly, essentially. Right. Just the fact that they're there in that amazing paradise, being treated well, being fed until they're fat and happy, and just walking around having all the great times. That was a gift that was bestowed upon them. And in a way, it's almost quadruple prizes because we had the cutest guy ever who was here, a Vietnam veteran, 80 years old, and he rode, I think it was Titan?
It was Ranger.
So he rode Ranger. He said that was the first time in 25 years he had been on a horse, and he just lit up.
Yeah.
And he was so happy. He sent pictures to his wife. He posted his new Facebook profile.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, just the cutest thing ever.
We bonded, and he did.
He did.
They did.
He had a bonding experience. He had a healing experience. True or false? I think there's a sign on this island that says, healed ponies heal ponies.
It's healed ponies heal people.
It was far away. I couldn't quite see it.
No, it's a play on exactly
Absolutely.
the healed people heal people, but healed ponies heal people. And so.
Yeah. Because you said that they have to heal. Like this is a word that we brought up a few times. You were mentioning your healing journey, heal the heroes. These animals you mentioned, they have to also heal in order to be brought in front of people.
Right.
So if they go through their own work.
Well, if they don't learn to trust again, they've had so many people punch them in the face or twist their ears or, whip them for not acting right.
Has that happened yet?
We've had one.
Just one.
We've got one who's still really afraid and nervous. Yeah. Obviously, we still work with him every day. And that's just like people. Some people have gone through so much trauma. You have to keep showing them through proving over and over and over and over and over again that they are safe now.
Yeah.
And it just depends on what happened to them and how bad it was, how long it was, when did it start. But every single one of them, just like you said, is this beautiful, worthy creature that is qualified to live a life where they're cherished, and they didn't have to earn that. And so we have this really powerful exercise on the island that I'm not going to give away because you got to come here and try it.
Make sure you do it.
But one of the lessons in it is when we actually realize that we would never say something horrible to a horse, the kinds of things that we say to ourselves.
Right.
And we're like, why would we feel so bad even saying something to a horse that we wouldn't say to ourselves? And people say it's because they don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. They're so beautiful. They're so strong. They don't do that. And I really think that that's the way God looks at us. You know, we're born, we're just as valuable if we do nothing than if we did everything. You don't have to go do all these things to be enough. You are already enough. Therefore, I can do anything. And I know we talked about this in a previous season, but I want to remind y'all listening to this, you were born already enough. Therefore, you don't have to do anything, but therefore you can do anything. It's a freedom on a foundation of love. And when you're rooted in love, then what comes out of being rooted in love is going to be love. And when you're rooted in trying to prove that you are enough or that you're worthy or prove other people wrong, then that's rooted in dysfunction. And so we always want to come back to that solid foundation of love. And if the words that you are putting and planting into your own spirit are not something rooted in love, if it's rooted in poison, you're going to grow poison. Your relationships are going to be dysfunctional, poisonous, all those things. Even if it's somebody you truly love, it's always going to be some kind of form of fill up my cup.
Sure.
Because I'm not already enough. And so that's really what like the Love Summit's about, is learning to love yourself so that you have the capacity to authentically connect to others in a pure way.
It's all about the root system.
Yeah.
Right? The love of money is the root of all evil. So meaning if you're going to be evil, you have to love money. But at the same time, you get to choose. You get to choose how your root system grows. You get to choose, is it a foundation of love? What type of tree is it? Is it a giving tree, an abundant tree? Is it a fruit tree, shade tree, evergreen? You get to choose. You get to choose your root systems. And ladies and gentlemen, you get to choose the definitions of the words that you have. We're going to have all kinds of definitions of the word woke in this season 4, because a lot of people have tainted it and they've made it something that it's really not, in our opinion.
Weird.
But at the same instance, you gave another definition of abundance. The ability to keep all promises. You just said that. And what's amazing about that is imagine all of the times, gentlemen listening, that you've wanted so badly to give your wife this perfect gift or a new vacation or an amazing dress, or imagine 3 weeks off of not working, but you can't because you don't have enough money. Imagine being able to do that. That's abundance, having and making those promises and keeping them. That's a really, really cool new definition. I like it a lot. One of my definitions that we talked about yesterday for woke, wealthy, optimistic, kind entrepreneurs. We can create our own. This is our world. This is your world, ladies and gentlemen. You get to pick what words hold power over you.
Right.
What definitions hold power over you? Why are you stopping and why are you playing so small? Because if you do not have to do anything for love, that gives you the ability to do everything or anything that you want.
Right.
There's no judgment there. You get to pick, you get to choose, go,
Exactly.
move, create.
Exactly. Or the consequences. You're already enough. You're already enough.
You've already made it. I mean, I think that's a really monumental takeaway. Hopefully it is for a lot of our listeners, because that is one of the reasons why so many people, myself, yourself included, we might have that limiting belief of, if I do this, I will fail. Therefore, people will love me less.
Yeah. Well, for a lot of our listeners who are doubting right now, like, okay, well, that's not true. If you're a parent, I want to ask you this, Jay Money.
All right.
Because mine has not come out of me yet. Mine's still cooking away, getting bigger and bigger every day. And I'm supposed to start feeling him kick this week.
The size of an apple right now.
Exciting. Yeah. I'm excited. So when Jason came out that first day and you're holding him for the very first time, did he need to be a multimillionaire for you to love him?
No.
Did he have to be, oh, you're tearing up.
Yeah.
Did he have to be a famous baseball player?
Didn't have to do anything.
He didn't have to do anything, really?
Just exist.
He just existed?
Yeah.
And you just still had to clean up his poop and his mess and listen to his screams from time to time, and you still just adored those big fat cheeks?
I love that kid so much.
He's so freaking cute. Oh my gosh.
That I told your husband that too, right? When Bear is born, I said, Jeremy, just get ready, man. It's a great love. It's a beautiful expression of perfection. One of my beliefs is that all children are born perfect, and we as parents, we put our imperfections onto and in our child through our words, through our emotions, through our feelings. I'm sure we'll have other discussions and episodes as we progress in the season about that. But the truth is, it's such a beautiful expression of love, and you're absolutely right. Our parents, they didn't view us that way. And when we become parents, we don't have to view our children that way. Like you said, multimillionaire professional baseball player, they can just exist and just be there and get what's referred to as unconditional love. Love without condition. Love without saying, you have to do this in order to get my love. You need to be this way. You need to act this way. You can have goals.
Right.
If a kid wants to be a professional baseball player, amazing.
Right.
That's not going to change your love. Just like with Indy.
For the day he was born, none of that mattered.
None of it mattered.
You didn't care what he grew up and was, because it just mattered that you just adored him and felt some level of like, I need to care for this child. I need to protect this child. That just happened.
Sure.
You wanted the best for him.
Precisely.
Automatically.
Instantly.
The thing is, you want the best for them.
Yeah.
And we have, as humans, this finite capacity to love, because we still are in this survival world where it still matters that we make it, that we get ahead, that we can live, and all these things. So our ability to love is just so capped compared to love, the all beingness of love. And so I think it's just a little micro expression and one little taste for those, again, parents listening here. Remember that moment. And I believe, in my best guess, because I'm not cocky enough to say, but my belief in my best guess is that is how God views us all the time.
That was a mic drop moment. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us on this journey of a force for good wealth. And we're going to continue going through Broke to Woke, Season 4 with Britnie Faith Turner herself.
Want to get to know us in person? Want to come elevate your life and change for the better forever? Want to align one of the core 6 pillars of what makes up whole life success? Come meet us in person here on the island at the Ariel BVI, where you not only get to spend time in paradise, you're going to transform and heal your mind, your body, and your spirit, and start walking your destiny. Go to broketowoke.com and sign up for the next Elevate Summit that you are most resonating with.